Hi. In the last lesson I told you we learned two things in the first lesson. One is what it means to commercialize technology. The quick review on what that is commercializing technology is to do a deal that creates money and moves the technology to market. It's a transaction that makes money, movement of both the physical technology and a legal bundle of rights. There's always something physical, even by the way, if it's just electrons, going through the internet and making something appear on your screen. Okay, I forgot to tell you what the second thing is. The second thing is to use darker magic markers, but that's okay. Hopefully you remembered it. And there'll be actually another example where we're going to use this heuristic device of not being able to see clearly to hope it leads you to remember things in this lesson. Anyways, let's get started on how we move technology. Moving technology, like in the old Dire Straits songs about moving refrigerators and televisions, means to sell them because you can't physically get them up into another place unless somebody has an economic reason to do it, at least when we're talking about technology, which is an economic transaction typically. There's no reason for somebody to do it if they're going to lose money doing it. So why would they make the sale? Well, as we saw when we were talking about transaction, there's the notion that there's going to be greater utility. Somehow they will be better off. In this lesson, we want to say, what does utility mean? Well, we can only know what utility means if we can identify a certain person. And here's that person. Drawing their face there. Maybe they wear glasses. Maybe there's a thing coming out of the glasses with a little mitt on it, and they're trying to catch the ball in the glasses. This person, and they have a smile on their face because they're happy. This person we call the end user. All right. So the question is, who's the end user? Who is this person that we call the end user? How's that looking? That looks pretty good. Okay, we can move this up a little bit over so you can see it a little bit better. There we are. See, it could be me if I was wearing those glasses. Basically, the end user is the person who has a... there's the other piece down there on the floor. The end user is the person who has a physical relationship with the technology. What is a physical relationship? Well, we're human beings. We have senses. We know what physical relations are. We touch it. We hear it. We see it. We smell it or we taste it. It's what we do with our senses. So, the end user is the person who literally interacts with the technology. Now, suppose I was talking about the plastics extrusion technology used to make these funny glasses, or to make the case of this magic marker, or to make the case of this control for the stereo system. Well, the end user in that case is not the ultimate consumer because I don't really care about the plastic extrusion technology. I'm looking for a pair of funny glasses that I can either play with myself or sell to or give to my daughter. But the end user is the person who puts their hands on the technology. So in this case, it's a manufacturing company. Here's another example. Here's a PDA. It's a little computer. Here's a slightly bigger computer. There's two computers. The end user for the computer is the person who touches them. Right now, these are both my machines, so I am the end user for them. But I am not the end user for the chip that goes into the computer, because I'm not making that computer. The end user is the manufacturer. The manufacturer is going to be influenced by what I think should be the metrics and what performances I want, and that's going to help determine what performances they demand out of the parts and the technologies they buy to put together the technology, so that, or the computer, so it has utility for them, meaning they can sell it. Okay. But when I did build computers, then I was the end user of the chip because I was touching it. Well, what does this mean? I'm going to go over here and move the camera a teeny bit. You'll forgive me, and then hopefully we'll be able to see this. There we go. We're going over. There's the end user there. What did we just go by? Well, we have three words up here. What are the words? One word is performance. Performance are the engineering metrics. When I look at this magic marker, It has a length, it has a weight, it has a diameter, it has a color, it has a thickness, it carries a certain amount of ink. I can measure all of those hard and fast, no question about it. Secondly, there is ease of use. This is pretty easy to use. If you've been using a pen, you can figure out how to use this. This is probably a little harder to use, although if you're under 20, it's probably a no-brainer for you. Probably under 50 is the reality nowadays. If you were using these two balls to juggle with, which I'm not great at, but if you were great at it, you know, that's a different kind of ease of use. And these are actually, I use these for carpal tunnel syndrome. They're great for relieving the stress in your hands, by the way. Whatever, ease of use is related to who the end user is. It's contextual. Price is both objective and contextual. It's objective in that you can measure it in dollars, in euros, in yen, whatever. It's contextual in whether you get sticker shock or not. So price, performance, ease of use. Price, performance, ease of use. Price, performance, ease of use are the metrics that tell us what end users want. Now, if we can give the price, performance, ease of use package to the end user better than anybody else, they're more likely to buy our technology. If we can do this over a period of time, we have what's called a sustainable competitive advantage. I'm going to pull this back so I don't cut my head off in the screen. There we go. Okay, this, by the way, is a light that you're seeing. Now, very quickly, because I've only got about 2.5 minutes left, I want you to look at the flip on your machine. On this flip, you'll see that there are different kinds of transactions for moving technologies. Now, we saw this before about control. Now look at this next flip. This flip shows you synergies. On the lower dimension is how much you understand about the science and technology, and on the vertical dimension is, rather than the horizontal, which is what I meant by the lower one, on the horizontal dimension is your familiarity with the market. As you position yourself there, you will realize that you lack certain things. Similarly, your partner, when you position them, the person you're targeting, will lack certain things. And your end user, by the way, will also lack certain things. If it's the end user, we got to figure out how to train them or provide it so they can use the technology and thus have ease of use so they can unlock the performance they want at a price they're willing to pay. And if it's the target, what it tells us is how much control about the technology we're going to transfer and how we can transfer it. Because part of the problem is the knowledge can be sticky. By sticky, I mean it can be super contextual and not documented in any way. You may not even know you have it. It's what we call sort of instinct. So the more sticky the knowledge, the more I have to think about how I partner, and even if I give up certain control, it's hard to transfer that kind of technology. To move a technology now, I have to think about the price, performance, ease of use for the end user, and the price, performance, ease of use for the person who's going to acquire it from me and sell it to the end user if I'm not going to do that myself. In other words, the way technology moves is you find a situation where there is an end user for whom your technology provides a mix of price, performance, and ease of use that gives a sustainable competitive advantage. If that's the case, the end user is going to want to buy it, and thus our target is the person who wants to sell those kinds of things to the end user but lacks a technology like ours, or needs a technology like ours to complete a package that they have, or is infringing our technology and has no choice, but son of a gun, they better license it or we'll hit them over the head with a lawsuit. Anyways, there's some kind of need, some kind of synergy both at the end user level and at the target level. If you can find that sweet spot, that's when you know a technology can move.